What's going on, Sanctuary? It's Noodle again, and today I'm bringing you another Diablo 2 Resurrected build. This one is similar to the one I did a couple of days ago with the Lightning Trap Assassin, but it's the new and improved or slightly adjusted Fire Trap Assassin. And again, like the other one, I love the Trap Assassin because it can clear pretty much anything with the use of Death Sentry. It's actually insane. And again, the slight changes open up a little bit more build variability because there's 20 less points for Death Sentry as a synergy that you don't need to use anymore. But without too much delay with this intro, let's get to the action. For the gear on the Slap Assassin Part 2, this will be very similar to the Lightning Trap video I released just a few days ago, where I'll have early and mid to late sets of gear, as well as some even later game swappables. For the early gear, I'm using Spirit Sword right now, but you can find trap claws like these from Anya if you're patient enough. I have some MF gloves, random rings, and a 4-slot belt that you'll find along the way, some boots with run speed, magic find, or res on them, Spirit Shield or another trap claw if you again have the patience to shop it, stealth for the armor, a simulated skill ammy with eye, and a lore helm. With this, you're able to start farming cows or keys just like the light trapper with relative ease, and I would recommend shopping for a lower resist wand and a tele staff. For the mid to late set, we have a Hoto for the weapon, Mage Fist for the FCR and the plus to fire skills, which helps here, or Chance Guards for the magic find, a couple of skill rings of your choice, Arax mainly for the skills since the FCR doesn't affect your trap casting, War Traz for the extra magic find, Spirit Shield again due to how OP it is, Treachery for the chest for the huge attack speed bonus which your traps use and the plus to skills, Maras for the skills and res, High Lords if you need a little bit more attack speed or even a +3 trap ammy if you just want more raw damage, and then Shaco for the skills, stats, and extra magic find. I did not use anything on swap, and some of the GG items you can work towards getting would include 3 trap helm if you need maximum damage, Enigma for the ability to teleport, and some extremely rare but not unobtainable 3 to either Fire Blast or Death Sentry, and then 3 to Wake of Fire claws, which if you're a lottery winner, you can find this in a 3-socket base to put the new Plague rune word in, which is probably the most broken thing you can do. I only used 4 skillers for the mid to late game on this build, and everything of course can be pushed further with sockets and more skillers, and you can use whatever the hell you want to use. This is just what I'm using to showcase this build. For the skills that kills, the Death Sentry synergies were changed a bit to provide some more variability. So we have 1 point into Cloak of Shadows and Mind Blast for controlling the crowds, 20 into Fire Blast, 20 into Wake of Fire, and 20 into Wake of Inferno. Since Death Sentry is no longer acquired synergy, you can get away with putting just 1 point into it for the massive corpse explosion damage, allowing you to get away with something like putting another 20 points into Fire Blast synergy to boost it higher. You can also run with more points into Burst of Speed to hit a trap break point, or even Fade for the higher resists when running Chaos or Neelathak. For the Statatas, we have enough strength and dex to wear everything depending on the gear or the claws that we're using, and then the rest of course goes into Vitality. For the Merc on this one, just like the other one, I would recommend either Insight Act 1 Cold or an Insight Act 2 Holy Freeze early on for some extra control and tankiness. Something worth noting for this section though, is that if you play more aggressively with corralling mobs, you most likely won't use a mercenary until late game, since early on they will just die repeatedly. These are of course replaced later on with an Infinity on an Act 2 Merc, however. The playstyle for the Trap Sin has a few onion layers to it that'll get more and more in-depth the more you peel it back. On the surface, it's as simple as just throwing down 5 fire traps and kiting them around until a few things die, and then dropping a Death Sentry to start popping bodies. Something you can do to farm more efficiently though, is to try to corral as many mobs to a single screen as possible by running around and shoving them into each other with Mind Blast. Sometimes, Mind Blast will convert a few of them, which turns the whole horde's attention inward. Once you nail that down, you just go back to step 1, but this time you cast lower resist first, drop Wake of Fire and throw Fire Blast until a few die, then lay Death Sentries to watch the body-filled fireworks take over the rest of the screen like this. Objectively, even without Infinity, this build can clear almost anything due to Death Sentry's physical and fire damage, and again, it's at a great pace compared to many others. I put this up on the Cow Clapometer to see how it competed with the other Trap Sin, and it threw down a somehow even better 4 minutes and 10 seconds, putting it even higher up on the list. In my opinion, this build isn't as fun as the light traps, mainly because I like the functionality of the straight line shots more than the Wake of Fire, but also partly because I just like lightning better in general. But honestly, just like the other one, you can start farming places like cows, ancient tunnels, and even Neelathak keys as soon as you finish Hell, so I would have to say this one is earning a solid 8.5 out of 10. Do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video so more people can see it, because I know again there's a huge portion of the community who can benefit from one part of this or the other. I stream all of my leveling, farming, and Uber operations live on Twitch quite a few times a week, so if you're looking for some live interaction and entertainment, make sure you follow from the link in the description down below. There will be a few other helpful links, like one to the Noodle Gang Discord where I post all of my live notifications and video updates, so don't be a stranger and come on in. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Happy grinding, travelers, and we will see you next week.